design of the launching apron and all the components are over, how a weir gets failed, what are various causes of failure of a weir. So this table summarizes everything. So there are four different causes of failure. One is piping, then uplift, then suction, and scouring. So out of these four, first two, piping and uplift, they are caused by the subsurface flow. The water which is flowing through the pore structure of the soil or under the bed, that means inside the soil, the bed soil of the river, that flow is causing the failure. Uplift we have discussed in detail as of now. So piping also is something that is happening in the interior of the bed only. So to prevent this piping, we provide the uh, inverted filter also. Okay. So and suction and scouring, they are caused by the water which is flowing on the upper side, that is the surface flow, which is flowing above this weir. Okay. So first two causes are of subsurface flow type, and further two causes are due to the surface flow. Okay. So what are their effects? Due to piping, if it is initiated once, if piping failure is initiated once, if it gets started, it progresses very rapidly. Okay, and it cannot be stopped. It cannot be stopped. So once the piping failure is initiated, you see that the failure has started. The piping failure has just begun. It is very, very difficult to stop this progression of this failure. You cannot prevent the overall failure of the structure. Okay, so I'm not discussing it in much detail over here because uplift, pressure, and piping, both of these things are to be discussed in the seepage theory chapter, and we will be designing our impervious floor on the basis of these two things. Okay, so what we can do to prevent this is by providing sufficiently long impervious floor. So it is related to the impervious floor with upstream and downstream sheet piles. Again, I told you that these sheet piles along with this impervious floor together, we'll be designing and studying it in the next chapter. For uplift pressure, the impervious floor is lifted upwards, causing cracks. So this we have discussed today, and how to prevent it by providing sufficiently long impervious floor. Again, sufficiently long impervious floor is good for a resistance against the piping also, and it is good for resistance, or you can say effectiveness against the uplift pressure also. So here something else is added also by providing sufficiently long impervious floor with sufficient thickness at various points. So we have seen that impervious floor is uh, having different thickness at different points. So sufficient thickness at various points should be provided, and upstream and downstream sheet piles are also there. So all these things along with sufficient thickness at various points. So that also is required for resistance against the uplift pressure. So in general, so these two failures can be resisted or can be prevented by designing this impervious floor properly. Okay, so that is of course the topic of the next chapter. In the suction, what happens is, if you just imagine the water flowing from the spillway of a dam, from top of the dam, the water is sliding down. As it moves down, it slides down, its velocity keeps increasing. Okay, and all of us know that more the velocity, lesser will be the pressure. Okay, so the pressure inside that water will keep on reducing as its velocity keeps on increasing. So when the velocity increases to such a great extent that the pressure becomes lower than the atmospheric pressure, then in that particular case, the concrete structure or the floor or the glacis or the spillway on which the water is sliding, the water will have a suction effect on that floor also, and any loose aggregate or any loose portion of the floor or the concrete surface, that will be sucked out. So concrete surface of the impervious floor or sloping glacis is worn out because of this suction effect of this high velocity water jets. Okay, how to prevent it? Additional thickness of the floor is provided. Okay, so whatever is the design thickness, we have to provide more thickness than that, so that some wearing out of the surface can be accommodated. Okay, and it can also be provided, the safety can be provided by the concrete floor of single mass instead of masonry layers. If the floor is provided in the form of masonry layers, in that case the different layers have their different strength. Their strength will not be uniform throughout, so different layers can be removed easily, so suction will be more effective, so that floor will be damaged very soon. So instead of providing the masonry layers, we can provide the single concrete floor as a single mass. So these are the remedies for preventing suction failure due to suction. The last one is covering. And you know what is covering? The sediment on which the structure is built, it is removed because of this covering. And what is the effect further? It causes the settlement and cracks in the structures. You can very well understand that if the subsoil is not there, or if it has gone deeper, then the structure cannot stand in air. It will also settle down further, and settling down will be different and in different portion of the structure, so cracks may appear. So they are called the differential settlement will be there. So cracks due to differential settlement may appear in the structure, that will cause the complete failure of the structure. So upstream and downstream sheet piles should be deeper than the calculated cover level, so that the soil below the structure is not removed out. And by providing suitable length and thickness of the launching apron. So we have discussed in the previous slides that how the launching apron functions and how it prevents the damage due to this covering. That also we have seen. So providing suitable length and thickness of the launching apron will also help against this covering phenomenon.